welcome back everybody for another episode of Hidden Gems. This is the video series where I talk about those books that are still probably tucked away in those boxes at your shops, at your LCS. These are not the wall books. These are not hot books on any hot 10 list or anything like that. These are mostly undervalued, underappreciated, forgotten about type books that I personally find interesting and just kind of want to share them with you all, whether they be, solid covers, reads, like I said, things that are just underpriced, undervalued, things that might be worth a little bit more than you think that they're actually worth. Just some fun, kind of forgotten about, ignored type of stuff. This week we're going to go back to the regular like lineup of a couple different categories, and I'll mix in the last to knows and the interlocking cover lovers and the homage cover one as well here and there. That's kind of how the format as I'm going to go forward, kind of go back and forth between different options. So hopefully you're on board with that as well as everything else here in the channel. So let me know what you think in the comments section. Please like, subscribe, hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing the channel. And if you want to see what books I got for you this week, just hang out for a few seconds after the intro and I will be right back. Okay, so for this week, we are going to start off our categories with variants. Yeah, I know. I love variants. I know a lot of you love variants as well. So we're going to talk about we're going to start with lower end ratio variants. Might get to a couple of higher ones, but that's because these all kind of go together. And the book I want to talk about here is, with all the speculation around the finalized cast for the Fantastic Four, let's look at some Fantastic Four variants, right? I mean, it's kind of fun. These are some things that people might start looking for eventually, again, now that it starts coming back into the media cycle and we start seeing some possible casting for the Marvel, universe movie coming up. But here we go with a 1 in 10 incentive. This is a Dale Eaglesham cover. We're going to have a few of these headshots. Just kind of go through, and they have different ratios. This one starts at a 1 in 10. From what I gather, I had to do a couple of different points of research to kind of familiarize myself with these ratios, because some of these get kind of weird, and we're going to get to that. But 1 in 10 here for issue 570, Fantastic Four. This is a book that it's relatively cheap. Like you can see here, copy sold $3.72. This sold for like regular cover price for this 1 in 10, not even incentive like priced. So asking prices as well, $5.50, $6 by and large. Yeah, there might be some copies that are a little bit more expensive, but there are examples here where this can be had under ratio. So definitely a cheap book to start with if you want to go and complete this collection of headshots from Eaglesham. Also for this book, there was another, from what I gather, 1 in 10 incentive. Oh no, next book. I'm sorry. That's the first book. Next book, 1 in 10 incentive, 571. Yeah, here we're going to start here. Marvel Superhero Squad. Pretty fun homage here to Fantastic Four number 50, Silver Surfer, and it's done Marvel Superhero Squad style. So I think that's kind of fun. I kind of like it. 1 in 10. I'll probably get into covering these one form or another eventually. Maybe I'll do a short or something like that does all the Superhero Squad covers. Because there was this whole month, I believe they had a whole bunch of 1 in 10s for these. That said, this book also not a pricey book. This one, $2.23 on 2 bids. So somebody actually put this at auction, which if you've watched this show long enough, these are not books to auction. None of the books I talk about on the show really should be auctioned. Auctions should be held for hot books, new releases. You want to find the market. You want to take advantage of what people are willing to go and spend on something that is in the news cycle and in the forefront of people's minds. Because then you're going to have like multiple buyers. You're going to have multiple bidders. That's what you want if you're having an auction. You want to have multiple bidders trying to fight each other out to win that book. You talk about a book like this that's just nobody really remembers or cares about at the moment, you're not going to have a fight. You're lucky if you get a bid or two. So remember, if you're a seller, don't auction these. But as a buyer, look for those auctions because you might win these super cheap like this one. 2 bids, $2.23. That said, even the asks are not that high. $8, $10, $6, still under ratio type of book. I still think it's kind of fun. I like these fun little homage books, though. So it's personal preference. 571 also had another headshot. This time it was Sue Storm, and it had the odd 1 in 14. Okay, 1 in 14 incentive. Why 1 in 14? I don't know. Because it has a 4 in it? Maybe. But why 14? I don't know. That said, I couldn't find any recent sales for this book, but there are not a lot of them. And the two that I found actually have decent asking prices. 15 bucks, which is right around that ratio, and then $40, which, well, Sue Storm, female cover, even though it's just a headshot, she's going to probably be the most sought after of the bunch as far as the books goes. So not completely surprised to see that price point, but again, these are just asking prices. Who knows what it actually will sell for when that time comes. But just something to keep an eye on, because you might find this in a box. It's still only 1 in 14. Your shop could have it just in a box, and it's not even separated out in some variants or anything like that. So just something to keep an eye on. That's all. And you can see there, same layout as the Reed Richards. Next book in the series, we get another 1 in 15 for the Superhero Squad. Again, more variants, Superhero Squad in the next month. 572 in this case. I'm not sure if this is an homage. It looked kind of familiar from the layout, but I couldn't place it. So if you know, mention it down in the comments down below. But I couldn't figure it. I didn't know off the top of my head if this one was or not. So it could be. It could be, but not positive. So with that, this 1 in 15 also doesn't sell for a whole heck of a lot. One bid, $2.50. So, like I said, don't auction these. Asking prices, sure, it's only about 10, 11 bucks, so still under ratio there. But hey, 10 bucks is still better than $2. That's all I'm saying. So list it for buy it now if you have one of these. But this is 572, which will also give us another headshot, but this time 1 in 18. Now I have no idea why we have this oddball ratio incentive number. No idea. The other one, or 14, it's got a 4 in it for Fantastic Four. Okay, explain the 18 to me. I don't know why it's not just a 1 in 20, but whatever. A 1 in 18, Johnny Storm. You see, we got the 4 now in this corner. So it's kind of like they're going to form together, right? Keep watching. So 572. This 1 in 18 has sold, again, not for a whole heck of a lot. Best offer on $8. I didn't even bother looking up what the accepted price was. You just know that's under $8 for a 1 in 18. So well under ratio is what it sold for. And I found only one copy listed, and they only want $5. So it's a very fine copy as well. It's not being listed as near mint. You still got $7, $8 shipping there. So it's still going to end up paying close to ratio for a very fine copy if you wanted it. But just know that that's what is out there right now. But who knows? Maybe you have this again in a box at your shop. Kicking it up a notch. We're getting out of the range of what we normally do on this show as far as variants go, but these go together, which is why I'm talking about them together. We have the Thing, the next issue, 573. Thing headshot. This time it's a 1 in 22. So we go up another 4. So we went from 10 to 14 to 18, 22. I guess that's why. That said, no copies have sold of this of late. So within the last 3 months, on eBay at least, I couldn't find any recent sales to share with you. But the asking prices on this 1 in 22, not terrible. 15 bucks, $32. So it's still averaging out or right around that ratio mark. Again, for the Thing. Not bad, I guess. Now, as I said, it looks like these kind of go together, but if you were to kind of put these together, they won't really fit right because of the way the 4 placement is. But if you do want these all put together, all you had to do was get the next issue in the run. Granted, this is a 1 in 44 incentive for issue 574, and they put all the headshots together here on this incentive. But you can see that it's not exactly how they would match up because the 4s, just the placement doesn't work, I don't think, exactly right. But I don't own these to know that for certain. So could be wrong, but it doesn't look like they match up as perfect as this cover makes it seem. No copies sold again on this one. Yeah, these are the books that, like I said, nobody's been paying attention to these things, so I'm not surprised to see no recent sales. But that said, asking price on this one, $100. So 1 in 44, looking for $100 raw. 9.2 is what they're estimating it as, so it's still near mint, maybe near mint minus, but still near mint. $100. Something to keep an eye on. I know it's a 1 in 44. Finding it's going to be even tougher, but I had to kind of finish it because, again, they all kind of went together. So I went down this route, and here we wrapped it up. And those were our variants for our variant segment for this week. And now we're going to shift on over to another favorite segment. I know you see a lot of variant segments on this show, and you see a lot of later print segments on this show because, well, these are things I like to collect. So they're the things I'm keeping an eye on, things I know a lot about. So that's why I'm talking about them. coming to this next title, which we may see again tomorrow on Chasing Ghosts. So just keep that in mind. But Punisher Kill Crew #1 has this oddball second print for #1. I say oddball because it's like panels just thrown on here with just a generic green back. It just this doesn't look like this is actually a comic per se. Like, I don't know. It's just this is an odd choice for the second print for this cover. But okay, it is what it is. It's one well, it doesn't sell for a whole heck of a lot, but I do think it's an interesting book because there aren't a ton of these. So the fact that this got a second print is kind of impressive because I think the first print of this book still was only like 35,000. So I think at the most. But a copy sold for $10 out of Germany with another $15 shipping to the US. So if it's a US buyer, that's a solid $25 purchase. But copies listed actually aren't all that expensive. Look, $373 and $493. But both of those are out of the UK, so they seem super cheap. So you go, oh, look, this book sells for $4. Yeah, but that first seller is looking for $10 shipping, so it's really more like 15. The other one, oh, it's like $5. They got $31 in shipping. So you want to buy it for $5, yeah, you're actually shelling out over $35 for that book. So it's not always apples to apples. Again, foreign shipping, it's not easy. Yeah, the people, it's just different. So keep that in mind too when you're shopping. You got to kind of sometimes factor that into the price because, especially when the price of shipping is magnitudes higher than the actual book. But that said, that's our first book for this segment. Next book, I got an oddball Uncanny X-Men for you. Uncanny X-Men $4.95, second printing. We got Angel, we got Iron Man. Again, odd layout, odd dynamic. That's why I kind of put this one here with these because it's like, you know what? These are some oddball second prints that just don't feel like your normal, just like a comic. Like you just get a simple, cover image. Like this feels odd to me for some reason. But this split screen, divided, I guess it's because divided we stand. I guess we're going into that. But that said, what are we looking at for this book? This $4.95 second print, 9.6 sold for only $30. That's a 9.6. The fact that I'm surprised it got graded to begin with, but then they only got $30. That's like the cost of grading these days. So I agree at $15 shipping, but that's also the cost of shipping a slab too. If you go off the weight, the size of the box, and priority mail, you're not going to media mail slab. I mean, I guess some people might still, but you shouldn't. For everybody's sake, you shouldn't. That said, going on to what's asking price $10, $10 to like $13. So $10 to $13 seems to be the average ask for this particular book. And you can see multiple examples of it. Just a fun little find. So if you find this like in a dollar box or something like that, that's all I'm talking about. It's just an oddball second print that you might not have thought, like, what was in $4.95 that was so special? I don't even remember. Like, I know I read this because it was ages ago, but I don't remember what happened in this book in particular that made this something that needed a second print. But there it is. So keep an eye out for it because I like finding the oddball books like this, the weird second prints. Like, why did they even make another printing of this? Oh well. So that said, up next, just looking ahead too for Daredevil. So that's something else I felt like was a good time to cover. I got some Daredevil second prints for you. This is the 2011 series, I believe. The first few issues all have second prints. I don't love the black and whites, but this is what we got for this run. So here comes Daredevil #1, second printing. No copies have actually sold for this book within the last 3 months. And if you wanted to buy it, well, 10 to 20 bucks, not terrible, but still interesting in case you can find one out there. If you find one out there for cheap, that's what you're looking at as far as the market goes. And that, another $10 shipping out of Canada for that $10 one, still like a $20 book. In Australia out of the other one. So look at these. They're not even US based. I couldn't find any US based copies. I got foreign copies only. Issue 1. Issue 2 is another black and white second printing for this title. This time we got Cap. Cap can include it on the cover. Copy of this sold all at $10. Not too well, May 25th, so not too long ago. So $10, not too bad for second printing. Asking prices as cheap as $3. And then you can see $16 for issues 1 and 2, the second print. So all right, you're looking at about $8 a piece. So not too bad there. Hey, like my comic shop for $3. It's very fine. Yeah. And they sometimes undergrade, which I found a lot of times with my comic shop. They're pretty harsh with their grading, so sometimes you might get a little nicer than as advertised. So I'm just saying. Uh, Up next, issue 3. Yes, we got another one. Issue 3, another second print. We got Claw on the cover here with Daredevil on the inside, cracking through. I like the three color cover here. It's a little bit fancier, I guess, than just the black and white. When you got the Daredevil inside, also playing in. It's not just the trade dress, but no copies sold on this one either. Asking prices for number 3 are like 6, 10, $12. Again, none of these are going to make you rich if you find them. These are just fun little things for you to keep an eye out for. If you're flipping through a dollar box, cheap back issue box, you just run into some Daredevils and you're like, oh, what is this? Oh, found some second prints. Well, maybe you want to consider grabbing them if you like collecting this sort of thing. Like I do. I don't know why. Mostly I like collecting new cover art, but I will grab this type of stuff too, where they go to the black and white. Uh, just not usually a fan. More of a fan of when they do something completely different. So we have issue number 4, our last one for this segment for today. Bright yellow vibe there. Issue 4. This one, another one. No copies have sold, so I can't tell you what the market would be as far as asks go. Well, cheapest $3. My comic shop's got a cheap, and that's a near mint copy too. Only $3 there. Other copies 10 to 15. So hey, there's the market on our Daredevil second prints. Now, I got one more segment for you tonight before we get out of here. And this is going to kind of piggyback a little off the later prints, which are technically reprints, but this is a separate section. This is a separate reprint section where these are just straight up reprints. And the title I'm going to cover in this section today is Marvel Triple Action. So I don't know if you've ever been digging in dollar bins and then you run across some of these, like the Fantasy Masterpieces, which is the Silver Surfer reprints, or you find of other Fantasy Masterpieces from the volume before, which I think covers some Avengers books. And then you got the all different types of Marvel spotlights and premieres and this, that, and the other. It can be kind of confusing, but Marvel 2-on-1s and etc. But Marvel Triple Action is a reprint series that started off reprinting Fantastic Four, and then they kind of shifted over to the Avengers. So, with that, also they're giving you multiple stories in the inside. But with these, you can see some of the things you get reprinted. So if you can't afford the original copies, this is a cheaper alternative for you. So, first issue, Marvel Triple Action number 1. It's got a Silver Surfer thing. Doctor Doom is what we're looking at here. And the Silver Surfer book we're talking about is Silver Surfer number 55, which is an early Silver Surfer appearance. So this one does pretty well. You know, him facing off against the Thing. You got the whole Alicia Masters storyline, I think, going through in this one. But issue 55 could be out of reach for some collectors. So maybe just look for the Triple Action if you want to get that book. And even with that, this book could sell as cheap as $2 or apparently as high as $107 at auction. I have no idea why that sold as high as $107. I put it in here because sometimes crazy things happen. Is that a real sale? I don't know. It seems fishy considering most of the sales for this book are closer to like that $16 range. So the $2 is a little under. 107 is way over what you normally see. That 16 to kind of in the 20s kind of range is more where we find our Marvel Triple Action 1 settling, depending on condition. Granted, near mint plus, I guess if somebody really, really wanted a sparkling nice copy, they'll pay a premium, hopefully get it graded maybe. Maybe that's what happened there. But still, $100 seems a bit extreme. Asking prices on this, like I said, it's normally 10 to 15 bucks. But as you can see, even in that $10 listing, a lot of times they're not in the greatest shape. That's listed as very good. These are going to be worn books. These are reprint books that were not taken care of. They're probably just shoved in dollar boxes. And that's where I normally find them. So they're not always in the greatest shape. The pages start browning. Might be some slight tears and some wear here and there. Definitely spine ticks. But you get what you pay for. So I'm just telling you, go dig in a shop and see what you find. Maybe you find some cool reprints for cheap. Again, if you don't want to pay the full price of the actual books that they're reprinting. Another one to keep an eye out for. I'm not doing the whole run or anything like that. Just spotlighting a couple books I think are interesting. So number 1, obviously. And then you got that Silver Surfer reprint. I'm a Silver Surfer fan, so I'm a little biased there. We also have a Kang cover. I also like Kang, so I'm a little biased here. But issue 17 of this run reprints Avengers 23. So you can see they slightly tweak the cover a bit as far as colors go, but it is, basically reprinting that issue. Uh, Among other things, I guess, with the triple action, you're getting a bit of extra stuff in here. But this book, there's also a Mark Jewelers of this one, I believe, too. So keep an eye out for a Mark Jewelers insert. You can sometimes see it. If you can see the book pretty well, you might see the insert, because the Mark Jewelers insert is going to be in the middle. It's going to be like that photo, pictures of all the jewelry and whatnot. Won't be in the normal book. So some people like collecting those. It's another little niche of collecting that people like to go that route. This is still like an $8 to $10 book, as you can see there, as far as the sell. Again, if you get a Mark Jewelers, you'll get a bit of more of a premium, etc. Asking prices on this one, however, 13, 30, 70. You can go pretty high, especially condition sensitive. So that $70 a near mint plus copy. So at least that's how they're selling it. So that's why they're asking so much for it. So if you do want to have that nice copy, you might have to pay a nice price. That said, this next one, I was finding this one all the time, especially right as the Black Widow, like pre-pandemic, like leading into the pandemic and before Black Widow actually got released during COVID. But I kept finding this one. So Marvel Triple Action number 35, which is reprinting Avengers 43, first appearance of Red Guardian. So he's right there on the front. I always kept finding these ones. There is also a Whitman variant for it too. That's why I have it on the left there with that diamond box. That's the Whitman variant. So again, another little side section of the hobby. People like collecting those. So know the difference between the two. Price on these, this is very cheap. It's still very cheap, but it's a cheap way to get that first appearance of Red Guardian, which for a time got pricey thanks to that movie. We still may see David Harbour back in that role. I don't know. I liked him in that role, but I mean, my comic shop sold a copy for $3, and then $10 for a lot of 7 issues that had that in there. So again, very cheap book. I just put it in there, undervalued, underpriced, forgotten about. This is just an alternative to getting that Avengers. What was it, 43? But you can see copies available, $4, $8, $9. Even there, it's not that expensive for this reprint. But again, check those dollar boxes. Maybe you can find it in there. Another option for you, if you don't want to pay that first appearance, first print price, is for Black Knight. So issue 39 of this Marvel Triple Action series reprints this Magneto. I mean, it's a different cover here too. This is kind of fun that we actually get a different cover than the original, like completely different art. And this also was on issue 1 too. I thought that's kind of fun. So it makes it a little different. But issue 39 of Triple Action covers Avengers number 47. So Avengers 47 is the first appearance of Dane Whitman, who becomes the Black Knight. So he's technically first appearance there. This is like $1 or $7. You can see this thing is sold for recently. Asking prices $3, $10, $16. Yeah, not super duper expensive, but still an interesting one. And I still need the original, for my PC. I just don't want to pay the prices. And they might be down now. I'll have to look what Avengers, what that Avengers title sells for now. But the other one you got to get along with the 47 is Avengers 48. But if you don't want to pay for the Avengers 48 with that Black Knight cover, that awesome Black Knight cover, you can get an orange version of it on Triple Action number 40. This is another book I've found in dollar bins plenty of times, and I always just grab it. I just have a habit of grabbing the Marvel Tales, which reprints Spider-Man, and I just like this stuff, and especially when it's cheap enough. Like, it's $1, it doesn't hurt. So I just go and grab it, put it in the pile. That said, it's still not worth all that much, so don't go taking it as like, well, you find it for $1, you're gonna get rich. You're not. Like, this still best offer on $13. This sold for recently, and asking prices on this one $4, $8, $16, kind of the same range as the last one. But again, it's because of the Black Knight appearance, so it's just a cheaper option because that Avengers 47 and 47 and 48, those are selling for hundreds, like 150 for like low grade raw copies for a time, with all the hoopla showing up in Eternals, etc. We're gonna see him in Blade. We'll see. I don't even know if they're gonna keep with that story or what. I don't know when we're gonna see Dane Whitman again, but I liked him as a character. As a kid, I like Black Knight, so I still have that kind of fond nostalgia for the character. So that's why I put him in this list of things that I think you can still find with the reprints as far as Marvel Triple Action goes. So once again, just fun little oddball things for me to go and share with you guys. Hopefully you find it helpful. Hopefully you find it interesting. Thanks for stopping by and checking this out. That's all I got for you this week. I know it feels like it's a shorter show. Just trying to do about 3 segments or so going forward, so I don't wear myself out talking too long. So that all said, still more to come your way. As I said, Chasing Ghosts should be coming on Tuesday night. I got some Punisher Kill Cruise to talk about in there because there's some incentives that came with that little series. I might get a Kickstarter out for you early Tuesday if I can get to it. I just got to kind of wrap that up. Otherwise, it'll come later in the week. But once again, I reminded you of my other shows. Come back on Wednesday's tax show so you can get your shot to win your signed John Boy, one of a kind, I Heart Rennavision exclusive. He's a good guy. I like John Boy, and I like his art. And I got him to sign that book for you guys, particularly. I told him, I was like, I just gonna can you sign this as a giveaway for my channel, because I'm not a signature guy. I don't really collect signatures in that way. I already have John Boy Meyer's signature. He sent me some stuff signed after doing a show with him years ago when I was doing 3 Comic Money with Nelms, and he sent us all his art book, and he sent me some Snake Eyes covers, because that I did pick one of his covers as one of my favorites for Snake Eyes. I think we were doing G.I. Joe, I think was our topic. But that all said, I'm going down a weird rabbit hole there. Come back on Wednesday for the live show and get your shot to win that book. And with that all said, plenty more content coming your way, and I'll see you guys all later. All right, bye.